Hello, welcome to a little something different. This is called the Strip Down Challenge. Don't worry, I'm not going to get naked on camera. No. Basically, the idea is that for about 10 minutes, I just talk about something and see what way it goes. I got the idea from Tricky Wee, whose YouTube channel I'm going to link in the description below. Check her out. She is awesome if you like Pokemon. And we're just going to see what happens. So, first off, Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a great one. I had to work, unfortunately, so, I didn't even watch the ball drop. I really don't make any resolutions because I didn't make any resolutions this year because I usually blow them within 2 weeks. Last year I resolved that I was going to go the entire year without saying anything negative about myself, but I ended up screwing that up by the 8th of January. Because I'm just going to be completely honest, I have no self-esteem. I don't have low self-esteem. I have no self-esteem. And it stems from the fact that I lived the first 30-some years of my life pretty much believing I was a piece of shit. Yeah. Whenever I succeeded at anything in life, my family didn't care. I could get straight A's in school. If I didn't know how to change a tire on a car, by the way, I still don't, then I failed as a human being. One day I was asked to do that, take the hubcaps off of an old car. All the nuts were rusted all to hell. I couldn't move a damn thing. And it's just like, I couldn't do it, And I go back and I say, I couldn't get these off. They're stuck. I don't hear, well, you tried, or anything like that. I hear, well, you can go back to doing the nothing you were doing before. On top of that, surprise, I think I mentioned this before, I was bullied in school. And I got no support from my family about it. In fact, I go to any of them, and they would just be like, I'm sorry, do I know you? Who are you? And it's like, what? This is why, crap like this is why I had no self-esteem. Because if I can't even get support from my own fucking family, where do I go from here? So I was severely depressed for a long time. And I'm going to flat out say it, I actually tried to kill myself when I was 14. Yeah. Was I 14? No, I was younger than that. I was like 11. And from there, of course, I get sent to a foster home. And that's actually when I discovered the thing that was going to be pretty much my out for a very long time, gaming. Because the son-in-law of the foster parents that I was with played Magic the Gathering, and, well, let me back up a little bit. So anyway, I was sent to the nut house. And when I went back to my family, nothing changed. So eventually I just got sent to a foster home because I ended up going back to the nut house. Believe it or not, this is exactly why. I was in a grumpy mood. Like, I was grumpy cat all day at school. So they sent me back to the mental institution because I was pissed off and angry and angsty and all that shit. And they didn't want to deal with it. So about 2 months after being let out of the mental institution again, I get put in foster care. And it was from there that I discovered collectible card games, because one of the son-in-law of the foster parents played Magic the Gathering. And and he showed me how to play, and I was hooked. Now, he was the only person that I had to play with, but, I eventually got cards. I'm not going to say I got good, because I didn't. I won like maybe 3 games. But when I left there again, when I finally left the foster parents, after my family decided after 3 years that they wanted me back. Of course, the reason that was given was because I owned a computer at the time. And truthfully, I think if it wasn't for the computer, they probably wouldn't have wanted me back. But moving on from that, a friend of my brother's played RPGs. Specifically, he played Vampire the Masquerade. And that's how I learned about tabletop role-playing games. But when I went to college, this would be about 3 years later. I went to college and nobody there played Vampire. But they did play Dungeons and Dragons. And I learned how to play that from college. And that's when I started playing D&D. So, timeline here. Magic the Gathering in like 95. Vampire the Masquerade in like 97. 97, 98, something like that. D&D in 99. And after a year of college, I ended up moving to Maryland, where I didn't know anybody. But the White Wolf website, unfortunately, I don't have this anymore, had sort of like a gaming, I guess you could almost say a gamer classifieds, where people would post what games they played, email address, and so on and so forth. And I looked it up, and I contacted somebody who lived in Salisbury, Maryland, where I lived at the time, and said, hey, do you have a vampire game going? Because I would be interested in playing. And he said, unfortunately, not at the time, or not at the moment, but there's a D&D game. I'm like, okay. I did post a video on the D&D experience that I had in college, but to recap, unfortunately, the DM was an asshole, and in 2 15-week semesters, I went through, I think, 27 characters. So my interest in D&D hit absolute zero very quickly. But since I wasn't near that DM anymore, I figured, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. And about a week later, I was introduced to the game. I was introduced to the other players. I rolled up a half-elf fighter, which I wish I had the character sheet for to this day. And the rest was history. The game started with second edition well, I started playing it in second edition in about late 2000. Roll over to third edition when third edition came out. Played for about 4 years. Now, this actually gets to the goal that I want to do with my gaming life, and that is I want to get some of the older books again. I'm going to try to see if I can move the camera or move the laptop here, because this here and everything down there are all the gaming books that I own, because I started dating the dungeon master of this D&D game that I was introduced to. And after a few years, she broke up with me and took all of the books that I owned, that I bought from working at the game store down in Maryland, and left. So I had to start a whole new collection of books. And I'm still working on it. And I would love to get some of the older stuff, because I've had a major old school buzz in my ear, because I started with second edition, and back in, I think, the fall of 2013, Wizards released reprints of the second edition books with a nice green cover. And these are actually the versions that were released in the 90s. The original covers of these would be black, but they basically made everything nice and big and easy to read. And well, on top of getting these, and I also got the first edition books, I bought the third edition books too. I've picked up at a local store that actually sells older books. I picked up from them a few second edition books, one of which I've been looking for forever, even before I started getting older stuff, because I picked up the Ravenloft Domains of Dread, the Forgotten Realms, Faiths and Avatars and Demi-Human Deities, and Skills and Powers. And as being that I don't live anywhere near this person who dumped me and took all my stuff, and I know she can see this video because I know she subscribed to me, I know that I will keep these safe for a very long time. But yeah, so it's just, since, of course, I no longer live in Maryland. I live in Ohio now, and I still play Dungeons & Dragons on a semi-regular basis. Third edition, going into fourth edition, going into fifth edition. I actually believe fourth edition came out almost a year after I moved here. I believe the fourth edition core books came out in like June of 2008. And then fifth edition came out a year and a half ago. And the 4th edition books that I own are very small compared to what came out because in moving to where I'm at now, I had to get rid of some stuff. I didn't want to, but I had to because I needed room because my room's small. And I got rid of a lot of my 4th edition books, and I regret it now because now it's a pain in the ass to find them. So yeah, there we go. A little bit of a history on why I became a gamer, and I got a little personal too. Not something I am good at. Yeah. Okay. So tell me what you think in the comments below. If you want to do an edited or an unedited, unscripted whatevs, I challenge you to do it. Take care. Peace.